Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Grant, and this is No Low Balls. I Know What I Got. And today on the show, we have Nash Willenbrock. Nash, I met Nash. He was a student of mine this past semester. I taught a brakes class for our local Mercedes program, and we just kind of clicked. He's into weird stuff. He's for as far as I can tell, owns lots of cars. Has bought lots of cars. We have that in common. Within the past year, actually when he was in my class, he bought a car from none other than Ed Bolian. It's a car that wasn't famous. It hadn't been released in a Car Trek yet, but it was right as he bought it. I think a few weeks later, the Car Trek had come out, and it's the W220 body S55 that was in Car Trek 5, I believe. We get into it in the episode. Hope you guys enjoy it. Nash Willenbrock, big car guy, and he was a pleasure to have in class, and he's going to be a great tech somewhere. But here it is, Nash Willenbrock, Ed Bolian's S55.
Lost Wi-Fi.
Is that an issue about living out in the boonies?
No, I'm in an apartment on Hurstbourne now. It's
Okay.
great.
All right. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm way closer.
Awesome. You living by yourself or?
With my brother.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's my only roommate.
That's great. What is the parking situation?
Well, they have our apartment doesn't have dedicated spots, but they do have garages that you can rent. So I have the Project Daily Outback in the garage right now, and then I just park the Mercedes and then whatever other car I'm driving just right out front. So
Yeah,
it works out pretty well.
awesome. All right, so I'm just gonna have you I'm gonna record a little intro after, but I'll
Sure.
just have you introduce yourself, and then we'll get into it.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. I am Nash Willenbrock. I was a student of Grant's for a little bit at JCTC, and I have an addiction to project cars, and we're going to talk about one of them today.
Yeah, I think that's why you're here. Recent graduate of the Mercedes Accelerate program.
Yes,
is that correct?
Graduation's tomorrow.
Awesome. Are you guys doing it at the shop?
Yeah, we're doing it in the shop.
In the shop. That's awesome. Yeah. So that was a year process.
Yeah, it's been a year. It went faster than I thought it was going to. It was over pretty quickly, but it was a great loaded experience.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. I've been there 5 years, and the time's just been flying.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep up with everybody, and it's all just one big moving piece.
Yeah,
but it's cool.
For sure.
It's like that's a great program, and I hope that it can continue, and I hope that that whole group, by the end of it, they whittled down. You guys were great. It was a great group. Just hard to keep a group like that going.
Yeah, it was very rushed, it felt like, but with the instructors, it was very guided, but you had to be committed to it.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot to pack in. Yeah. So this basically we've kind of clicked, just talking about old Mercedes and our enjoyment of old Mercedes, and kind of when I was teaching you guys that class, you had the opportunity to purchase a relatively famous car that hadn't really been famous yet, but now I'm sure millions of people have seen it. Which is a 220 S55. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I just watched it once, and I watched it pretty early, but usually they get a few million for sure.
Yeah, it was cool for the episodes to come out after I had purchased it, because I purchased it, and then like 45 or 50 days later, then the episodes came out, and then I got to see what happened. It was great.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was a great episode too. So it is the Ed Bolian S55 from Car Trek, I think 6.
Car Trek 6.
Okay. Yeah. Just tell me, I obviously I know a little bit of the story. I'm going to post some pictures kind of as we're talking, of pictures you've shared with me. So if you just want to tell the story, I can match some pictures up with your story, and then we can obviously, if whoever's listening to this, if you're listening to it on Apple or whatever, you have to check out the Instagram. I'll post the Instagram pictures as we release these podcasts. So anything we talk about that I can find a picture of, I'm going to post some pictures, and you'll either see it there, or obviously if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see it right on the lot, right live.
Sure. And I've got more pictures that you don't even have yet. So I'll send you those.
That's great. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So basically he made an Instagram post kind of unloading some of his cars to get some more cars. You know, even Ed Bullion runs out of room apparently.
Yeah. I saw it super early in the morning. It was like 7:30 right before class was starting. And I was just looking at my phone, and I saw that he had posted, and it said, you know, all cars gone, fire sale. Because apparently he wanted to buy this Bugatti Veyron that had caught on fire, and it was a salvage car. And he wanted to sell all of his cars and go buy this Veyron. So he had this car listed for $4,500. And I saw it right when the post came out. And I was like, well, if I'm going to message him about it, might as well message him now. And I sent him an email, and he responded within like 5 minutes and said that it was the most requested car. Like the most people had called about this thing. And he was like, the first person to wire me the money gets the car. And I was like, and I called my bank, and I immediately PayPal'd Ed Bullion $4,500 like 15 minutes after seeing the car, because I figured, why not? I was in a Mercedes class. It was an old Mercedes that needed work. Perfect timing.
Kind of a once in a lifetime.
Yeah. And so we ended up talking more about the car. He sent me a whole bunch of pictures. He said that it was going on a future Car Trek season, and I was super excited about that. At first, I thought it was the supercharged one. I really thought it was. But
yeah.
About 4 hours after I had paid for it, I realized that it was not supercharged. I think I was just too excited.
It could be worse.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like the non-supercharged M113. It's a very great motor. I mean, the car has like 170,000 miles on it now, and it's still kicking great. So but yeah, so I bought a one-way flight ticket to Atlanta, Georgia, and I bought this car, and then I drove it all the way home. Ed was really nice. I got to see his garage. He had the gated Mercy. He had the lifted Cayenne from Car Trek 6. He had Paris Hilton's SLR there. Really cool experience. He handed me like some stickers and a license plate. Really cool.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty normal guy for his much stuff as he has.
Yeah, and he picked me up at the airport, and we had just a nice, relaxing car ride back. It was great. He told me a lot of stories that I'd never heard before. He's a great storyteller, I guess, as you would expect.
Absolutely.
But then my friend Sky and I, who's also in your class, we road tripped the car back 7.5 hours. It was a good. No mechanical issues. I only got one misdemeanor on the way back.
There's some, there was some. I recall there were some law issues.
Issues
with the law.
Yeah. I was going allegedly. I was going a little too fast with a 204 chassis. I can't remember what it was, but it was blacked out. And we just come over this hill on the far right lane, and there's this ambulance, and I couldn't get over. And I got that. The good thing was I got to go to court. The bad thing was it was in Nashville. So I had to drive to Nashville to go to court, which was not fun. But I got it off my record. Everything's good now. So
that's good. Did they give you a posted speed? Like what was your, or you care not to say?
Allegedly I was going like 28 over. But he mainly pulled me over because I wasn't able to merge over a lane. I was in the far right lane, and he was on the far right lane. And I tried to merge over, but there were cars, but I was going like pretty fast. And so he pulled me over for a combination of that and not moving over, allegedly.
I got you. Right.
Yeah. He was kind of nice.
Yeah. You were still probably doing
nice.
Double digits.
Somewhat.
Yeah. Right.
That was after I allegedly went 150 on a back straight, but I have not gone that fast since then.
Right.
So
that's great.
It's great car for high speed. I mean, it was built for the Autobahn, and it does that.
Built to cruise.
So
for sure. Yeah.
And it's super quiet, super smooth. Like I wanted to do the exhaust, but every time I thought about doing the like cutting the exhaust off or straight piping it or something, I was like, but it's so quiet and it's so nice. It's such a great daily driver. I just don't want to mess with it. And I'm glad I didn't mess with it. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, that's probably the right move. I had a C55
Yeah.
that I ended up cutting the rear cats. The rear cats are unmonitored, so you can cut them off and it doesn't affect anything. And then I cut the resonators out. I had Bluegrass Muffler do it. And it was great. Like it was perfect. I kind of got lucky that those cars aren't droney or anything on the interstate after that. I'd hate to have that was one of the nicest cars I've ever had. And you can ruin a car real quick when it's just like just doing 70 miles an hour.
I mean that's what I did to my Lexus. That's what I did to my Lexus. It was a great daily driver until I cut the exhaust off, and then it was not so great to daily anymore.
Yeah, those are the days. I still kind of cut exhaust off a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I do as well. When I had the Mercedes in the shop the other week, I took the exhaust off at the Y pipe, and it sounded pretty good.
Yeah,
it sounded pretty good.
So Ed showed you did he show you his studio, his like the recording, I guess it's like the attic in his garage, right?
Yeah, it's the attic in his garage. And so so he went back into the house to grab like the title and the paperwork and everything, and he just let me just walk around in the garage, and I just got to look at all the walls, all the Cannonball stuff, the office, all the stickers, banners, everything. It was so cool. His garage is amazing. But
it looks like was it a 3-car? It's probably holds more than that though, right?
It's I think it's a 4 or 5-car garage, but it's like offset. There's a main garage, and then there's back in the corner, there's another like garage space. It has its own garage door, but it's like offset from the rest of it.
Yeah. So you can get about 5 cars inside or
Yeah, probably.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But apparently he had 15, which was too many. So he decided to sell them.
I'm sure he's got a Tyler Hoovie style warehouse,
like offsite garage, something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
He has to.
But no, that's awesome though. It's good to know that I ended up meeting Hoovie at SEMA and talked to him for 20 minutes or so. And it's good to know that those dudes are as nice as they seem and aren't just like I know there's some guys that I've bumped into a few guys from Motor Trend shows and whatnot at like race events, and they're not as, maybe they're having a bad day or whatever. Maybe they're being hounded, but you never know how somebody's day is going. But to be just a butthead to somebody trying to say hello is weird. But Tyler was at SEMA getting paid to say hi to people too. So
that probably helped a little bit.
Absolutely. I think he was I think he was there with Meekum Bear Jackson is who he's doing presenting for. But yeah, that was that must have been, so now you've just been the 220, the S55's just kind of been a daily for you, right?
A little bit. It's been down for a while. The radiator ended up being cracked, and I was trying to find one, and apparently they're very hard to find. I talked to the dealership that I was interning at, and they said it would be like $1,000 for a remanufactured one, and it would take a month and a half to get here from Germany, and it just was not worth it. So I went around to a couple different shops and tried to find one, and I finally found one 3 weeks ago that had one. That had a radiator, and I finally got to put it in. So now the car is back driving. The only thing it needs now is motor mounts and trans mounts, because they are definitely going flat.
Yeah, you get that, like when you turn it on, it kind of like rumbles a little bit.
Yeah,
kind of feel a vibration through the wheel and stuff.
Yeah, and if the car upshifts by itself, you can kind of feel the car like rock pretty hard. So
that it also, I guess, pretty recently needs a wheel and tire.
It does. On 4th of July night, I hit a pothole on a back road going like 30 miles an hour. It wasn't even a big pothole. It was a pretty small pothole. And I just hit it going like 30 or 35, and I thought I just had a flat tire, and I pulled over, jacked it up, got the tire off. I set the wheel down, and I had to like take a double take because I saw it and it was just split. I turned around to grab the spare, and I looked back, and I just stared at it for a couple seconds. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
That's completely broken.
So
because
the
it's kind of
picture
dark
will be
outside.
up.
And I couldn't really tell, but yeah.
Oh yeah, the picture will be up
It
right now,
is-
and it's
it
pretty
is
rare to see a
completely
wheel like
split in half.
yeah, split in half
Yeah.
long ways or like
Yeah.
rotationally, and especially those are like that's not like it's a cheap Chinese wheel either. Like that's an AMG.
They are
wheel.
the nicest wheel they are the nicest set of wheels that I own. And
Yeah.
just, I mean, even when I had my Civic with like some cheap steel alloys on them. I hit a pothole on 71 going like 80, and the wheel like bent a little bit, but it was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And of course,
I
I
hit it with
hit
the hammer.
in the and then of course I hit it in the AMG, and it just crumbles. So
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen an OEM wheel explode like that.
Yeah.
Not like the car not be completely totaled. Like I've definitely seen wheels come apart, but usually you see the cars like been rolled over 4 or 5 times.
Well, because it didn't even feel like it was broken. It just felt like a flat tire. Like I felt it go flat, and it was just rolling fine. I just pulled over to the side. Like I had nothing in me was saying this is worse than just a flat tire. I was kind of upset about the tire because it was a nice tire. Because that's the other thing. Someone was like, "Oh, we probably have a cheap tire on there," and tire didn't have it. I had some nice Continentals on there.
I remember
Extreme Contacts. They were very nice tires.
Yeah. So have you been able to look for a wheel or find a wheel yet?
I've been trying to find them. Usually you can only find them in whole sets, and they're ranging anywhere from like $3,500 to even upper $4,000 range. And I only need one, but the problem is even if I find one, it's still about $1,000 without a tire. So I'm trying to figure out what to do because I'm only in the car maybe $5,200. I don't really want to spend the price of the car in a new set of wheels. So
especially when you only need one.
Yeah, especially.
And there's like one down the street from me that's super rough. And it just always sits in one spot, but it has the twins, like the dog leg spokes, like the split spokes instead of the monoblock style. And I think the split spoke was the more common wheel on those cars, at least from the ones I've noticed.
Well, because the post facelift, the supercharged ones, they came with the split wheel design, and the pre supercharged ones came with the monoblocks.
Yeah, that's probably why I think they sold. I don't know. It's hard to say which ones they sold more of, but it was. I know those cars were pretty short run anyway. But so what's the plan for it? I know we were talking a little bit off camera, and it sounds like you're ready to move on.
Yeah, I think it might be time to sell it. I've got way too many projects at the current moment, and I need to thin down the fleet a little bit, especially since I moved out of my old house where I had 20 acres to store as many projects as I wanted, and now I'm in an apartment complex. So I need to thin down the fleet a little bit. And that car it was the closest to being ready to being sold. Now with the wheel, it's kind of set it back a little bit, but I think the end goal is still to sell it. I would love to keep it. I'd love to daily drive it, but I have other cars that I want to focus on right now, and I don't want it to just sit and do nothing because that's just not fair to the car. And I've put enough work into it that it's ready to drive. So I think if I can sell it to someone that has time and can enjoy the car, that would be a way better way. That would be a way better way for that car's life to end.
For sure.
Not being in a junkyard or something.
Yeah. And it's still got a lot of life in it unless it gets crashed or because mechanically those cars are kind of hard to beat. I don't know. Does that one still have was that a ABC car?
Yeah, it was ABC.
It still got all that.
It still has all the ABC systems. The front ABC, the rear ABC struts are leaking a little bit. I tried to find a junction or some lines and see if I could find where it was leaking, but I can't find where it's leaking at. I find a little bit of drops of fluid, but every time I go up and check there, all the lines are dry, like the struts are dry. Can't find it. So I'm probably not gonna fix the ABC before I sell it, just because usually if you replace one component in the ABC system, you have to replace almost the entire system. But yeah, it's still ABC. The ABC suspension works great. I like the ABC suspension. It's just really expensive when something breaks.
Yeah. Those cars ride great. They're kind of amazing. They're pretty amazing. So a car that big.
Yeah. especially because they don't have sway bars.
Yeah, I was gonna say those don't have sway bars.
Have sway bars or anything.
It's pretty amazing, especially a car that old, that big and that old, and it's still
because they had the ABC in the 220 when it came out in 2000, and it's just ride height level sensors that sit and they read how high each corner is off the ground, and then it adjusts how much pressure is in the fluid in all 4 struts like 10 times a second or something. It's crazy how it works.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It works well.
But so and I know we talked a little bit. The plan is like bring a trailer. Is that you still gonna try for bring a trailer or some other online auction?
I think I'm gonna try Cars and Bids.
Okay.
I know Doug DeMiro, who owns Cars and Bids. I know he's sold a couple of the 220s. He even did an entire video reviewing a 220 S55, which was kind of cool. So I think I'm going to try and list it on there. I think it probably has the biggest market there, especially being a YouTuber famous car, selling it on a YouTuber famous auction site. I think it's going to reach the right audience. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm interested, so I'll be watching it on when you get it up there. So it may not go very far.
Yeah. Well, because I'm struggling with doing no reserve or not, because almost all the time if you do no reserve it usually goes higher, but it's just such a risk.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think the chances of that thing doing $2,500 is basically nothing.
I don't think it's going to be that low.
And if somebody is cares or is interested enough, they could figure out what you paid for it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Just by going back and seeing Ed's post.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. And so you most recently you sent me a picture of your G35. Is it G35? It is a G35.
It's a 2003 G35 sedan.
And now it's like a Jeep. It's like a Wrangler right now. Got no doors on it.
It's a Jeep 35.
Yeah.
I took all 4 doors up, all 4 doors off, and I took the back seats out. And now it's just a go-kart. I found the stock weight of all the doors and everything, and I think it's right around 450 pounds I took out of it. So it weighs like 2,800 pounds now without me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's manual transmission.
Yeah, it's CDO1. It's not as beefy as the CDO9 from the 350Z, but it's the younger brother. Still 6-speed, still great. The motor and trans have like 40,000 miles less than the chassis does. The chassis is at like 220, motor and trans are at like 180. But the body's pretty tuned up. It's actually right now it's going to become a drift missile. That is the plan. Currently it's at my friend's shop sitting there right now. Tomorrow we're gonna go put it up on jacks and do the clutch, and we're gonna get a welded diff into it, maybe a handbrake. I haven't decided if I want to put the handbrake in yet, and then it's going to Import Alliance Summer in Nashville in about 2 weeks. So with no doors
back on or
no doors off.
That's the move. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like doors off is going to be the move. It's Nashville. It's hot. AC doesn't work anyway, so.
There's nobody in their right mind that'd let you slide that thing with no doors on it, though.
Oh yeah.
Could you put like a half door? You need some like door bars.
I could. I'm debating trying to find some like NASCAR door nets and just like put some clips so I can just clip the door net on, because I think that'd be perfect.
Like little tube doors and a net.
Yeah.
And I feel like they'd let you slide it like that.
No, I feel like they'd let me slide it with no doors. I've got seatbelts. I feel like I at least have to have aftermarket seats because I still have stock seats in it. So
I feel like you still might slide out of the side of the thing, because you use the door quite a bit to.
I'm not going to drift it with no doors on, probably.
Oh well, that's where you and me are different.
Well, I mean, I did.
If they let you, you would do it.
Oh, I would 100% do it if they let me. If they said, "Hey, you want to slide that thing?" I'd be like, "Yes, 100%."
Yes.
I can steer with one hand. I can steer with one hand. I'll just hold on to like the oh crap handle.
Right. And you need like a selfie stick out the no door. Just
a 360 camera. 360 camera with no doors.
Homemade.
Dude, the reactions I've gotten just driving it yesterday and today have been amazing. I was sitting in a traffic light. I was just going to lunch with Sky, and this 220 pulls up, and this older guy, he's probably 60, 65. He rolls up, he goes, you got work you're doing to this thing or what? And I was like, nope, just took the doors off.
Just
He
this
was
is
like,
just my car.
he's like, what is that? Is that an Audi?
Oh man,
but
that
he loved
reminds
it. He
me
was
of
smiling ear to ear.
when we chopped the roof off that Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
I drove it around campus, and we pulled up in front of the WDRB studio right there, and Mark Weinberg snapped a picture of it out of his window. Like, you know, the local weatherman, and posted it on his social media, and it blew up, like, and it got
That's
all
crazy.
most of the comments were like, oh man, those poor guys, they just, you know, they're just having a hard time, and that's the best car they can get. And I ended up having to be like, I reached out to Mark Weinberg, and I was like, hey man, I teach automotive technology over here across the street from you. We're just doing this for a goof. And I don't know if you saw it, but like they did like a 2-minute story on Chop Top
Really?
Challenge.
I haven't seen it yet. I'll have to go find that.
Yeah. It's on the YouTube page. I'll send you a link to it. But all that over, like, me and Nick O'Brien, one of the other instructors, were just like looping the thing around the block just to see, you know, what it was like, how floppy it was with no roof on it. But it was pretty funny.
No support whatsoever.
And surprisingly good.
Great.
Like, that car, we did like 800 miles in it in 3 days.
Where did you drive it?
We did Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
Oh, that's cool. Well, was it like a gambler car?
Chop Top Challenge.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, if you
Nice.
look up Chop Top Challenge, it's basically 15 to 30 cars, and the last one they did was Key West and back. And you have to have your car chopped at the bottom of the windshield. And you know, when you're on the interstate, you wear a helmet.
That's great.
I saw you in the helmet with no doors. I love driving a car with the helmet on.
I feel like it's necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I have the sunroof open, the helmet like doesn't even hit the roof. It's great.
Yeah. So yeah, what's the
Yeah, it's been fun to drive around.
For sure. What's where are you at work wise? What's your next career step?
Currently I'm working full-time at O'Reilly Auto Parts. I worked there before I went to school, and I worked there while I was in school, and I'm still working there now. I'm waiting for the Louisville Mercedes-Benz dealership to give me a spot. They already have Hunter up there, who's another student from our class. So I'm just waiting for my spot.
Awesome.
And then I should be moving over there.
Sweet. But for now, got a job that you're familiar with, and
yeah, it's great. I actually love O'Reilly's. If you need a job and you're in the cars, work in an auto parts store. O'Reilly's is the best.
For sure. That's awesome. I love our local O'Reilly's. They give us a good deal. And it's always a interesting situation down there. But yeah, man,
O'Reilly's parking lots. Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
There's the one that we frequent. There's a dude who like charges money to fix your car. Like, he's running a whole business out of the
outside
parking lot. Mm-hmm.
That's great. I mean, that's a really profitable idea, because when you look up on Google, like mechanic shops in your area in Middletown, it pulls up Advanced Auto, O'Reilly's. And so when you look up mechanic shop, it shows you auto parts stores, and people come in all the time. Hey, can you like do my timing belt in the parking lot? No, you cannot do your timing belt on your Ford 500
worst nightmare.
In the parking lot.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we had this lady that came in on a Sunday, and she wanted us to do her timing belt in the parking lot. And she was like, well, you guys have to fix this. I mean, you said you were a mechanic shop. You have to find me a mechanic shop. But it was Sunday, and everywhere was closed. And
oh man,
we get some interesting stories at O'Reilly's.
I bet. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. And it's a great story, and I hope that the auction goes well.
Will do.
Awesome, man. It was good to see you, man. We'll catch up soon.
You too. You have a good one.
You too.
For sure.
Well, hope you enjoyed that. That was Nash Willenbrock talking about Ed Bollion's old S55 that he bought from him. Hope you liked it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll catch you next time.